Mr. Stagg?
Not yet. But the Arkham Knight and Scarecrow's forces have moved through this place, killing everyone.
They must be there for a reason, sir. What are they planning?
Barbara's the priority. When she's safe, I'll deal with them.
But, sir, you have the chance to end this now. Capture Scarecrow, and you can save the whole city. It's what Miss Gordon would want.
I'm not losing anyone else, Alfred.
But Alfred, if we finish things now and stop Scarecrow right away, the rest of the game is going to have to be DLC. People just won't stand for that. We have to find a way to stretch the game out as long as humanly possible. Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan, and welcome back, finally, to more Arkham Knight gameplay. I had no intention, originally, of finishing this series after I lost a lot of gameplay, which I've talked about, you know, on a couple of other videos. But I just don't like leaving things unfinished, and I kind of had an anchoring to get back to this after I had a lot of requests to finish it.
It might even be bigger than your cod piece. There's no way you're going to be able to shift this.
It's a line you can only get away with in a more adult Batman thing. So here we are, back with more Arkham Knight gameplay, and I'm going to finish the entire game, at least the main story with Scarecrow and Arkham Knight and the Cloudburst stuff going all the way to the end. There's some side mission stuff you'll see here and there, but for the most part, just like before, I'm concentrating on the story, and then I will probably record my gameplay for the rest of the side stuff.
I should now have full rotational control of the airship stability system. However, the hacking device will only work within a certain range of any control terminal.
I know this is old news at this point. We are more than 6 months out now from when this game was initially released. Everybody's playing other stuff at this point, of course. But I was still remarkably getting a lot of requests for this, and I needed to play through it again so that I could talk to DanzNewz about it. And he and I meant to do that podcast months ago. We're finally getting it together this week, I think, and we'll have that out for you. So you'll get to hear Dan's thoughts on it. You'll get to hear us talk about it at large and in some detail. And but you know, if you want to actually see me play through the whole thing, I'm gonna keep this going and show you all my gameplay footage. I am like I did with the 89 race course, I'm going to record the gameplay and then do my audio separately. It's just too much walking and chewing gum at the same time for me when I'm on my own trying to talk about the story and the gameplay and figure out where the heck I'm supposed to go. Hey, look, a Riddler trophy I can actually get. You'll see me in some places as we go along, try at Riddler trophies and then decide, screw it, we'll just come back and get them again later on. And I do have every intention of attempting to 100% this so that I can get to the true ending and you know, just kind of complete this. But I'm working on all kinds of other things also, so I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to take me to get all of this to get all of this commentary recorded. Hopefully not another 6 months. I'm gonna try my level best to get done before that. All this tilting of the airship. I know that there are some folks who probably were, well, I know for a fact there were some folks that were enjoying this game vicariously through me not playing it themselves and relying on my gameplay in order to get through the game. So for those folks, if you went ahead and went and watched somebody else's, you know, the numerous people who played through this game on YouTube, of course, sorry about that if you've already gone ahead and watched somebody else's gameplay, but just in case you haven't and you didn't get a chance to finish it, or you're just now starting on these videos, thanks a lot for listening and watching, and hopefully this is helpful for you. I could not for the life of me figure out how to get this Riddler trophy right away and didn't want to stand around forever while folks were watching. That's another thing about doing gameplay footage is I find that I play kind of differently, and I get a little bit, I've said this before, but I get a little bit self-conscious where I'm a lot more concerned about how long it's taking me to do things, and so I'm a lot more apt to quit something. Although, as we go along here, since I wasn't talking while recording, you'll find more and more I'll start to just play like I usually play, which is just let it take the time it's going to take. And if you've watched any of the other parts of this, you'll know that I like to stand around and smell the roses a little bit and really look at what's here in this game and enjoy the incredible amount of detail. I was sitting here trying to figure out where I was supposed to go from here. I get through things a lot faster than I was playing it in the previous 6 parts, because I've been through it once, but it's been months, and so there are still some places where I couldn't remember exactly what I was supposed to do. I was really proud of myself for not getting stuck in the airships nearly as often as I did before. That was one of the reasons it took me so long to
I've been waiting for a shot at you, Batman.
get some of this footage up. Where I just got really frustrated in the airships. Things were taking so long, I was going to have to spend hours just trying to edit the footage and take out the boring standing around parts. And I will cut this one up a little bit too, but not nearly as much as I was before. And it's a little bit easier the way I'm doing it now. Obviously, it's actually going to take me twice as long because I'm doing the audio separately. But the nice thing is I'm playing through the game faster, so I don't actually save a lot of time. But I'm saving time, at least in the gameplay, and I certainly enjoyed it more doing it this way. It's just so difficult to concentrate on all the story stuff.
And from the look of him, he won't last much longer. I need to save him.
When you're trying to figure out where in the world you're supposed to go.
I'm not telling you.
I think this game can get kind of cryptic.
I don't mind. We start with the fingers and see how high we
And we'll talk about this as we get to some things, but there are places where, because of what I've seen previously, in a similar situation, there's every reason for me to believe that I'm not capable of doing the thing that the game wants me to do in a scene, and that'll get me confused, and I'll feel like an idiot when I finally figure out what I'm supposed to do. I didn't realize this until I was already really close to finished with this round of gameplay footage, and I've already, just so you know, played through to the end. Oops. I pressed the wrong button. But I discovered toward the end that I had actually been playing this time on easy. So I started us off right where we left off in that the previous 6 parts months and months ago. But I was playing those on normal, and I toggled easy this time, and like I said, didn't realize it until I was well into the game, and kept thinking to myself, wow, I've either gotten a lot better at this, or this has gotten I'm playing this on easy. For some reason, it's gotten a lot easier, and it turns out that I was playing on easy, although I certainly think playing through the whole game once, it was I was better at a lot of things, especially some of the Batmobile combat.
They were going to kill me.
Why? What did you do?
Nothing.
A lot of
These
horrible
animals
things.
came in and just started shooting.
They were collecting those cylinders.
Nimbus generators. A totally clean power cell technology we've been developing.
Where's Scarecrow?
God, Batman,
He's
you
on
don't
the
know a
second
Nimbus
airship.
cylinder when you see one?
Anyone with him?
Oh, you mean Barbara Gordon?
I think we both know she's probably dead, don't we, Bats?
Yeah, that's going to be a thing later. We'll talk about that. I'm not in love with the way they handled Barbara Gordon ultimately in this. The big point to doing this originally was to react to things, and I am really sorry that it didn't ultimately end up working out that way, where you got to see my initial reactions to all of this crazy stuff. This one really surprised me in the moment, and I really enjoyed. Some of this survival horror stuff is wonderful, and just Batman seeming to lose his mind, and all the identity stuff with the Joker being in his head, and is having the Joker literally and metaphorically in him. All these questions of madness. Ironically, there's so much more Joker in this game now that he's dead.
Target is secured. We're bringing
And that
it to
will not
R2.
be... That is the first but not the last time that we will fight many, many Jokers at once.
Wave goodbye.
And I gotta say, by the end, that gets a little bit overkill. Gets a little overkill. The first time I played this, I really took my time there and spent a lot longer looking at all the Jokers coming after me, because I didn't know what was going to happen, and I didn't... And that might have been, in fact, the first time that I realized that when you get in a situation like that, you're supposed to just start hitting things. I was kind of standing there and just letting them laugh at me. But first time out, that is a really creepy scene.
I could feel you losing control there. A little more of that delicious fear gas, and it will be all over. For you.
For you! I just love that we get to actually go into the blimps in this game. This is one of the more tedious sections
Stag's been taken to Scarecrow on the second airship.
of the
I've been
game.
analyzing the schematics, and it appears to be defended by automated gun turrets. There's a security terminal in the research laboratory towards the rear of your current vessel. You should be able to disable the turrets from there.
Oh boy, disabling gun turrets. That's my favorite part, he said sarcastically. But yeah, I love how elaborately designed
These access points are programmed to only recognize Stag's
ships
voice.
are, but of course that's true of a lot of the architecture all over this game. It's just such a ginormous, beautiful game. And say what you want to, and oh, I will, as we go along about the story. It's a marvelous achievement in the game development front. Just the giant open world nature of it, how much fun it is to explore. I think it's got a great deal of replay value. I'm finding more and more neat little Easter eggs and references and things every time I play it. Okay, this was me remembering that I had to walk through here, but not realizing that I could kind of deal with all of that once I just went under and started walking through it. So I thought I had to set up the barriers to all be out of my way before I walked through, and then in a minute here I just said screw it, and then I just kind of walked in and took care of it. So this is a little dull and tedious, forgive me. But see, I can warn you now, at least with the parts that I remember. I played this through pretty quickly this time. I took a weekend and took off, and of course, when I take off work, what do? I make some videos. I'm always working, I can't help myself. But it was really fun to just focus on the gameplay and kind of immerse myself in this world for several hours at a time. I never do that with games like this. It always takes me months and months, and I was really, or at least often it does. Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, both of those I played through pretty quickly, but I had a little more free time on my hands back then. I like the puzzle aspect to this game. I think there's a lot more of that than there was even in Arkham City, and I think it's nice and varied and complex. I think all three games are wonderfully different in gameplay enough from each other where it's never just more of the same. They tend to kind of focus on different things. Certainly, there's all the combat's the same pretty much, and you've still got your gadgets, and you've still got to figure out how to get past obstacles and things like that, but Arkham Asylum was much more of a, as I always like to say, kind of a haunted house game, and Arkham City is more of this kind of, obviously bigger outdoor kind of survival horror thing, and it still has that, it doesn't have as much of that claustrophobic feel, but it's still about exploring this somewhat limited area.
Stopped me at Ace Chemicals, Batman. You merely delayed the inevitable. Gotham is mine to do with as I please.
And still focused on the terror and the madness, and of course all three games have that, but maybe kind of different aspects of it.
Cowering in the darkness, cursing the hero who failed her.
Of course, it's all about getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Your obsession.
This game, gameplay-wise, starts to focus a lot more on...
I could have her killed.
I should stand clear of the containers before tilting the airship.
It's a good idea, Batman.
But I have other plans in store for both of you.
I don't want to talk over characters too much, especially, again, if this is the first time you're getting to see and hear any of this. However, boy, Scarecrow just has got a mouth on him. And I don't mean, like, he says a lot of provocative things that get on your skin. I mean, he just never shuts up. I've compared him a lot to Hugo Strange. He would not have been characterized this way and would not be so speechifying and just say whatever random platitudes and philosophical mumbo-jumbo seems to come to him. If we hadn't had that version of Hugo Strange in this universe... And now we gotta take out a wall. I love explosive gel. I love it because I can stand right next to it and not die. And it's just fun to watch Batman flinch. I don't know why. But yeah, this game, gameplay-wise, is a lot more about the military combat with the, the tank stuff and all of that. And I really resisted it at first. It's come to grow on me as I've gotten used to it. And I like some of the thematic implications of it, although I think ultimately it's a little bit of a weak... We've got thematic reasons for Arkham Knight to do that, but we don't have good enough story reasons that he goes for such a military motif. Batman does not seem to be exactly the world's greatest detective in this. It would have been nice to see Batman, with all the detective work that we do in these, and that's really evolved too, and I like a lot of the use of gadgetry and stuff in the detective work, but you'd think that Batman being this master detective, we'd get to see him actually figure it out, and we need this big shock reveal. So he's, of course, doing detective work and trying to figure it out, but he keeps saying all these things matter-of-factly, thinking he knows where it's going, and it's not real satisfying when he finally figures it out. We'll get there and talk about it, but I just think it's it's weird and almost funny when he's like, Alfred, try to figure out people that have been incarcerated in Arkham that I've put away that have military training. And then ultimately it has nothing to do with that. I mean, maybe he did, but we're never told that. There's no talk about it. It's thematically a cool idea because it's all about control.
I wasn't trying to kill you. I was trying to kill your mind. So, we still pals?
Oh, that's okay. As long as my body works.
Friends for life. Anyway, don't blame me. Blame Scarecrow and his patented Joker-liberating miracle tonic.
Try saying that 5 times fast. This game is so inconsistent in the dialogue writing, and it's kind of a shame because sometimes it borders on brilliant, and a lot of the time it's more juvenile and trying really hard to match up with what came before. This one I also did not figure out right here. I'll warn you right now. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with this. And I did not stand around all day trying to figure it out. When I finally go in to do all the Riddler trophies, and by the way, you might be thinking, well, a lot of these Riddler trophies are really similar to the ones in Arkham City. You should already know how to do some of them. I never went through and got all the Riddler trophies in Arkham City. That's a game I also still need to go back on 100%. I've never been a completionist when it comes to video games. I've always been a lot more about just getting through the game and experiencing it and experiencing the story if it's really story-driven. This game I'm finding I like as a video game more than I like as a story, although it's certainly got its moments and it's got its, you know, provocative and thoughtful things, but ultimately a lot of that doesn't add up for me. But I am trying to decide if I'm going to go back through this with a book, with a strategy guide, to get those trophies, or if I'm going to try to figure them out totally on my own. If I do it totally on my own, then I probably won't record and post those and expect anyone to sit around with me while I babble on.
You are nothing compared to him. Make good use of that drone.
As I stand around feeling inadequate in my wits, trying to match wits with the Riddler.
I want this place stripped bare. Stag thinks he can keep his files hidden. He's wrong.
I need to get closer.
We're gonna tear this damn airship apart to find them.
There's been a surprising amount of Simon Stagg in
Hell?
non-comics media in the last 3 years or
Target the
so.
soldier controlling the drone.
Arrow and Flash, and
I
in
need
this
to get
game.
closer.
Stag has failed Scarecrow. Let's not
That guy is a terrible person, and he deserves everything that happens to him in this game. I'm glad I went ahead and played this on easy, because of course all
I've
this
downloaded
Predator
the
stuff
code.
is
I can
just
aim at
a
the
lot
drone
easier to
against
deal with,
designated
and
targets to turn it
you don't have
against
to
them.
watch me die over and over again. But it also helped me to get a little bit better at it, I think,
from over there. Move!
because I had time to really develop strategies and play around with it without getting killed as I experimented.
What the hell?
I think some of these Predator missions are pretty creative
Buddy, wake up.
compared to stuff from the other two games, where we've, not that they weren't, but just where we've, you know, added some fun traps and things that you can set for your opponents, for the thugs.
Going. We're in the middle of something here. Stop!
I really thought the multi-fear takedown thing was going to make these too easy, and for me it didn't. It might have for other people. At first I didn't realize how limited it would be. They only let you do like 3 in a row, I think.
Trying to locate
Maybe sometimes even less.
What did he do this time? I've lost the signal. I think he was hit from above.
Yeah, I have a tendency to get a little bit impatient
Hell?
when I'm doing these. And this time around, not going so much for speed and thinking too much about an audience watching and just kind of playing it, I had a little bit more fun with it.
Grapple up. Find him.
I used a lot more of a variety of methods to take down thugs instead of doing it all from above.
Landing mine on vantage point.
And of course in City, it progressively makes it harder and harder for you to do it the way I like to, which is just staying above and dropping on people.
Area is hot.
This game doesn't stop you on that nearly as much.
Mine on vantage. Ah! Moving to find them.
I think there's only 1 or 2 places where they even put bombs up on the gargoyles. And even then, it's not like every gargoyle.
Lost him. Eyes open. We'll get him next time.
I think we've really taken the emphasis on the Predator missions kind of off, while still, like I said, having kind of a fun variety of things you can do with them.
Someone cover me. I'm checking our wounded. I'll cover you.
But maybe the whole making it hard to see, I hate that, where you'll get like a second where they're passing under you, and I almost could have done a silent takedown, but I just didn't get there fast enough. Because you have to wait for the prompt is the problem. And that does become an issue in places for me in this game, where you've got to wait for a prompt, and before and after the prompt, the button does a different thing. And so you'll know you can do a thing, but it doesn't quite get there in time. It'll be a little bit sluggish about it. Sometimes it's me not lining it up right, other times it seems to be the game's fault. Sometimes it even seems kind of glitchy, but that doesn't happen real often.
Nothing we can do for him. We spread out.
This game is surprisingly more glitchy than I would have expected. I'm playing on PS4. I don't know if other people have dealt with some of the glitches I found. There was one, I think, in my first video that people commented on, where I was driving the Batmobile and everything just froze for a second and then came back.
I can use that console to disable the airship's defenses.
That happened a couple times while I was playing through it here too. But at one point, well, I'll talk about that later when we get to it. There's a major crazy glitch that happened to me later on. I think it's just a really massive
Weapon system
game.
controls are locked behind a scanner keyed to Stag's fingerprints. Without a clean set of his prints, I'm locked out. Maybe the CCTV camera feed can help me. I should scan the footage to see if Stag's hands touched any surfaces during the abduction. I might be able to reconstruct the full set of prints.
I think it's really pushing the envelope of what you can do on these systems and how much you can squeeze into a disc.
Stag will have left a handprint on the floor there. I should check for other places he touched. There's more chance of getting a full set of prints.
I like all of the detective work stuff, again, with the gadgets, and of course here it's just with surveillance footage, than in the previous two games.
He touched the floor after he was thrown down the stairs. I should search for more prints.
We've really refined that, I think, and it's also a lot... I also enjoyed it a lot more than in Origins. There's some tedious parts in Origins where it seems to just kind of play itself with the reconstruction. We went from Origins and did some of the same sort of reconstruction stuff in this game, but I feel more like I'm actually accomplishing something, I think, this time around.
There's nothing here. I need to find surfaces he touched during his abduction.
Of course, when you're not figuring it out right away, it can feel kind of tedious, but...
That's not a full handprint.
That's more on me.
I need to find moments when Stag's hand is flat on a surface.
So this is going to take me just a second. Everybody bear with me. I marvel at all of the different angles that we're able to see cutscenes and, well, not cutscenes, I suppose, because that's, you know, a cinematic thing, and it's that would be from one set of angles, but just in the gameplay, all the different angles that we're able to capture things at, you know, in complete 360-degree field of vision with the realism of all of the models and textures and stuff. It's absolutely confounding to me with the video games that I grew up on that were already to this stage, and how realistic.
There's nothing here to help me. I need to find moments when Stag's hand came into contact with the surface in the room.
And how all realistic all the faces are now. We've come...
This is no good.
Really close, I think,
in this frame.
to getting to where you can...
He touched that railing when he steadied himself. I should find more prints to reconstruct a full set.
To where you can make muscles in people's faces look a lot more realistic, to where it almost looks like a real person's face now. I mean, it still has an animated quality to it.
Stag left a handprint near the exit to the room. I know where Stag left his prints. Now I just have to scan those locations.
But we've, especially with games like this, I think that we've done a remarkable job now of getting to a place where we have a balance between realistic and stylized to where you can look at it. It's not trying so hard to be realistic.
I've got an index fingerprint here. 3 locations left to scan.
So, what's the deal here? Reconstructing a match using all these itty-bitty pieces? Oh, and speaking of itty-bitty pieces, what do you think they're going to do to Barbara?
That's so much fun. It's slightly less fun once we get to the end, and it all really does seem to be pretty much all just in Batman's head, and it doesn't have anything really to do with the original Joker, because I have a hard time buying a lot of it once we know really what's happening. But I guess there's still question as to, you know, how exactly the Joker blood thing works.
2 spots
but
left to scan.
Again, we'll talk about all that stuff when we get there. It kind of falls apart.
He left prints from his ring finger and little finger here. 1 site left.
And this is going to take me a minute to find. I got kind of disoriented and could not for the life of me figure out where that last part was. But I'll find it here in a second. What I was saying about the... I'm droning on. What I was saying about the realistic faces is there was a time where it seemed like we were trying so hard to make faces look realistic. I'm thinking late 90s, early 2000s in computer animation that it was kind of hard to look at. And now I think we've struck this nice balance where it is realistic, but it's also like a specific kind of style, so that it still also looks animated, like it's on purpose, you know, like it's deliberate. And yet sometimes, especially in this game, it feels almost like I'm looking at a real person's performance, and that there's a performance to go along with the vocal performance. Although some of the vocal performances aren't brilliant in this game. I question some line deliveries here and there, especially from Scarecrow, and I like Barbara Gordon a lot. And, of course, I love Jim Gordon. Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad. I think I brought that up before. Yep, just walking around, trying to remember where that last part was. Oh, there he is. There's that feeble elderly man who doesn't look at people as real people.
I've got the full set. I should be able to access Stag's computer system now.
What a horrible money-grubbing scientist.
So you're going to use a reconstruction of Staggy's handprint to access the computer. Oh, that's genius, Bats, really. Oh, I know. When you're done, let's hack his online dating profile.
That's funny and all, but do we really need the Joker to explain what's going on to us?
I can't remotely disable the turrets on the other airship, but I can control the turrets on this ship.
Hasn't Batman already kind of done that for us?
That's the weapons dealt with. Scarecrow's next.
Yeah, let's go get him. Even though I'm more concerned with Barbara. I guess suddenly I'm thinking about this and I'm not quite getting that. Where it's like, oh, you could stop him now. Okay, but he's got Barbara, so like, we still gotta go after him, right? What am I missing? I don't know. Honestly, I was so engrossed in the story at the beginning.
Sir, regarding the identity of this so-called Arkham Knight...
Now I'm more sucked into the gameplay.
What have you found?
Nothing, sir. None of the former Arkham City inmates who remain unaccounted for fit the Knight's profile.
Widen the search.
Speak of
When
the
Joker
dialogue
took over
devil.
the asylum, dozens of inmates escaped. Focus on young men with military experience.
Downloading the files now, sir.
Okay, I did not remember that that line was in this part. I thought we'd already passed it. Lip something. Lip balm. No. Not enough. Lipids. There we go. And the password system is really interesting. That even though you're using toggle sticks, figuring out what it's actually trying to say helps you to decide where you're supposed to put your thumbs.
What the hell did you do to me? Helped you, idiot. Anyone who touches you now gets 1,000 volts.
The
Thanks
malicious
for that
combat
exposition.
suits temporarily carry an electric charge. I won't be able to hit them when they're in that state.
And it's gonna take me the whole game to realize how easy it is to take the electrified guys out. That's gonna be embarrassing. Cause Captain Me can see the future.
Ready to get fried!
Get him!
Not so tough now, are you, Batman?
These fights are all about getting in a rhythm. And when I've been playing a while, I had this with Arkham Asylum and then Arkham City. I started getting some really good scores in the fight arena thing, whatever that's called.
Apologies for the interruption, Mr. Wayne, but I can ready another upgrade for the car if you'd like to take your pick.
It took me a while to get anything like decent at it again, but
The localized EMP blast will disable nearby vehicles and incoming missiles. Ideal for when you find yourself in a tight spot.
I'm not saying I'm real great at it or anything.
Excellent choice, sir. Nothing like a short-range EMP blast to afford one a little breathing room. Don't worry, the Batmobile's immune.
I love how posh and proper and put together Lucius Fox is in this game. No matter what's going on, even when his life is in danger, he is always this really upscale, and really sure of himself, like I said, proper, always well-spoken kind of guy. And of course, Morgan Freeman's version is that way too, but there's a tad of different flavor to this guy. It's a little bit like Alfred with computer skills and maybe a little bit more of a wink wink, nod thing to Batman. Usually not sarcasm, but just kind of enjoying the absurdity of the world he lives in. He likes to really downplay the bizarre nature and the, immense importance of what Batman does and his role in it.
Gentlemen, an announcement. Our one-time friend, Mr. Stagg, neglected to keep the cloud...
Because you don't have enough announcements, Scarecrow.
...charged and ready for operation. We will need to do the job ourselves. I need men in biological engineering, ferrying energy cells to charge the device. And I need more men to defend them. Do not fail me.
So here's the thing, storytelling-wise, that's a little bit sloppy, and I hesitate to criticize this game now too much. That's fun. You name it, we'll freeze it. But I hesitate to criticize the game, or the story too much in this game, because it's really not as concerned with story as it is coming up with excuses for really cool, fun scenes and moments that kind of freak you out and jump scares and all that stuff, and yet it's acting like it's a lot more deep and sophisticated than it really is, so it's also difficult not to talk about it that way. But just now that I've been through the whole thing, I'm not taking the story as seriously as I was before, and I'm able to enjoy the game a little bit more because of that. But one of the things that kind of irks me a little bit is you've got early on in the game, the part where Batman and Oracle, really early on, they've tapped into the... This is going to take me a little bit, by the way, trying to remember, and this took me forever the first time around, trying to remember how in the world to use tilting the airship to get to the next place. I knew it had something to do with breaking glass, but I just couldn't figure out what glass, and it still is off screen, and I have a hard time. I'm like, oh, okay, there we go. Now I can go through here. Okay. But, or actually, it hasn't even happened yet. It's after this. Anyway, but you've got the bit where Batman and Oracle have tapped into Scarecrow and Arkham Knight's audio system, and they know he's listening in, and then they keep saying things that I would figure they wouldn't want Batman to hear as if he's not listening in. And you'd think they could just come up with another channel that he wouldn't be listening in on. Like, maybe Batman would break into that real quick. When he's not hearing any chatter, he'd try to figure it out. But there's just no discussion about it after that. It's like we use that as a contrivance for us to hear everything the bad guys are saying so that we don't have to keep cutting to them. Which would be more okay if they just didn't know Batman was listening in. So it feels like a story device at first where they're going to intentionally say things to, knock Batman off the path. But then that's not really what they do. And it seems like an unnecessary... I just love knocking everything out of the side of this airship. It just doesn't... It seems like an unnecessary contrivance, ultimately. Seems like an easily fixed mistake. I think it's hilarious that the LexCorp building, and that there's that big of a LexCorp building in Gotham. The LexCorp building is right next to the Wayne Enterprises building. And then later on, we'll hear an answer machine message from Lex, and I just imagine him being, like, right next door while he makes that.
The revised formula works.
Accessing research notes. User ID. Stag. Simon. September 3rd.
When Dr. Crane approached me, I thought the man had finally realized the value of his chemical expertise. But no, he's still Scarecrow to the bone. The man invents a formula that could cure depression, turn an entire army
to the
upon
bone.
itself, and
Scarecrows
use
wouldn't
it
have
to
bones.
frighten people. Fine, Dr. Crane. I'll keep working on your cloudburst, but I'll keep working on your toxin as well.
Accessing research notes. User ID. Stag. Simon. September 20th.
He's gonna regret that.
Human testing has not been the breakthrough I hoped for.
I want to go. I want to go. I want to go.
The cloudburst works perfectly, though I've temporarily obscured that fact from Dr. Crane. I must perfect his formula.
Accessing research notes. User ID. Stag. Simon. October 2nd.
Patient number 4, 2 weeks after exposure. How are we today, Daniel?
Fear toxin may be dangerous for you and your loved ones. Prolonged exposure to fear toxin may induce episodes of extreme psychological trauma. I'm telling you, Bats. They just keep making this stuff sound better and better.
See, if this is all in Batman's mind, Batman is way wittier and cleverer than anybody ever gave him
Stag
credit
and
for.
Scarecrow were working together on a project codenamed Cloudburst.
But then it turns out it's
But
impossible.
if that's the case, sir, why is Scarecrow attacking Stag?
Stag must have double-crossed him. He's here for the device. I'm giving you remote access to Stag's computer network. Search for anything related to the Cloudburst. I need to know what it is.
As you wish, sir.
So if Stag ran into a wall in his research and he couldn't get any further with it, would that mean that he had stagnated?
Good evening, Mr. Stag.
Please let me go. I've got so much money, even Batman won't be able to stop us. Oh!
We're gonna hear him say that again later
Stop yourself from betraying Scarecrow
a
for
couple
little more.
times because we recorded it.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Nah, you're not sorry yet. But when Scarecrow's toxin starts pumping into this cell, I think you just might be.
Oh, God, no. I've seen what that stuff does. Someone help me!
He's such an
Attracts
old
a
school
lot of
traditional mad
attention when I take out
scientist.
the minigunner. I should
Even
leave him
Batman
until
can't
last.
stop us. He sounds like he should be in a
All right, Logan. We need to charge the
1940s serial.
Batman from getting to the boss. Fail at either
In the movie theater, not like that you'd eat with milk for breakfast. So I got another Predator mission. So while we were walking down that hallway, I didn't want to talk over all of Stag's so illuminating talk in his journals. Oh, cool! I managed to knock out a silent takedown. Ooh, and a fear multi takedown. Look at me! Look at me! I'm growing as a video game player. As we're walking down that hallway, I think that's a really good example of a narrative device that was used to really great effect in the first two games that this game is not quite getting. It's using it because it knows it's a thing these do. The problem is, it's really kind of dull and tedious to listen to. You notice I skipped one or two of them, and I think there were even more logs on the computers beyond us. I got bored listening to them because they weren't telling us enough. They weren't really informing the story so much as just being something he might say that would be part of this world, which I guess is okay. If you were just walking down that corridor and it was talking to you, like, it wouldn't be as big of a deal because you could just walk past it and you wouldn't think you necessarily have to stand around and listen to it. But to press a button and it talk to you, when you had those in the other two games, very often it would be something about a villain. You had there's a lot in Arkham Asylum where you'd have the notes with a with a psychologist talking to one of the inmates, and it would kind of inform their character, and it kind of helped to build this world because this is its own Batman universe. It's not supposed to be informed too much by the comics, and of course that ends up being a really big problem by the end with both Oracle and Arkham Knight. We'll talk about that when we get to it. As far as story stuff goes, I'm going to comment on it as we get to it. So if you haven't been all the way through the game yet and you're watching this gameplay, I don't suspect a lot of people are going to do that, but just for the few of you that might be doing it that way, I'm going to try not to spoil too much stuff till we get to it. That may be a pointless exercise. Maybe everybody here already knows who Arkham Knight is. I had a bunch of spoilers in my 89 video because I didn't know when I would ever get a chance to finally talk about what I think about the story of this game. So I just went ahead and did a kind of a brief discussion of it there. But in case you didn't listen to that video, I will make this more about in the moment. Hard not to occasionally mention things we'll get to later, but I'm not gonna, try to spoil too much stuff. So I would have been dead already like 3 or 4 times if this wasn't on easy mode. And because I can intuitively tell that this is simpler than it has been, I decided to kind of just go at these guys because I can. It's not really that hard, but like I said, it did kind of allow me to fool around a little bit more without fear of getting killed, and so I think I did accidentally get better at it as I was somewhat lazily taking these guys out in these Predator bits.
The cloudburst must be fully charged.
When the new Predator movie comes out, that should be a tie-in cereal. That one actually a breakfast cereal.
I swear,
Predator bits. Sometimes when you get in a room this big, it's easy to lose where your goal is.
Batman.
Sometimes you have to look around from it. Oh yeah, that's where the person is I'm supposed to rescue.
Out of here. They're insane.
You lied to me. You've got one more chance, Stag. One.
Okay. Look, Scarecrow came to me. He needed my help with the cloudburst.
What does it do?
That makes it okay. Oh God, Batman.
No!
You are getting hardcore, buddy.
Don't let them touch me!
This is a desperate Batman.
The cloudburst, Stag. Tell me what it's for.
I don't know. It's all over my skin. It's crawling all over
Oh my God,
face.
that's gruesome.
I should leave you to your nightmares.
See, if this was the animated series, Batman would have just, like, pumped that through with, like, you know, gas that was totally harmless. But this Batman has been pushed to the edge and is, I think, kind of even taking out his own insecurities and his anger with himself on other people. The world revolves around him, and all these horrible things that he's not technically responsible for, he feels responsible for. So when he goes up against some of these guys, he's also kind of fighting himself. I think I'm going the wrong direction. Sometimes that happens. I'll get in a big Predator fight like that. Like I said, it's this huge room, and so it's really easy to forget that. Yeah, and I don't have a great sense of direction anyway, but it's easy to accidentally wind up going back the way you came. But sometimes when you do that, you run into, you know, a special room like this. Of course, once again, I'm not going to figure this out right away. I'll have to come back here and take care of this. So these things go back and forth. I think I actually figured this one out the first time around, but for some reason with this one, I thought you're supposed to just open that middle thing up, climb up there, and go down and grab the Riddler trophy, but that's not how it works. So I just kind of move these things back and forth like a mook. I'm sure all these failed Riddler missions, trophies, I'm gonna get a lot of comments. No cap. Sigh, eye roll, snarl. Here's how you do it. And again, I will probably come back and try to grab all these later on. After this one, I quit going for them as often, just because I didn't want to waste your time. I want to know how the Riddler has the time, and I wondered this in the other two games too, not only to plant all the Riddler trophies, but to scroll all the stuff that he scrawls on the walls. Look at the racetracks he puts together. It seems like it's all supposed to be in his handwriting. I just don't know how he has the time to do all this. I assume that he's just very specific in his instructions to his henchmen of how they have to write this stuff, what it's supposed to look like. Maybe he gives them diagrams. So, you know, it looks like it's sort of in his handwriting. I would really like to see, sort of like a lot of people wanted a Riddler in Nolan's Batman, I would really like to see a Batman game in this style you know, in the Arkham universe, where the Riddler is the main bad guy. And of course, he gets so much to do in all of these because the Riddler trophy thing is a really good gimmick for side mission stuff. And his motivations make as much sense as any of the villains in these games. And I like that there's kind of a progression for it. I guess we'll talk more about that when we get to some of the Riddler missions, which I did do most of in this particular grouping. Okay, look, Cap, just leave the room. It's not going to happen right now. Wow, I was just determined, but I could not figure it out. It's like, fine, screw it. Let's go. But, you know, to take the Riddler and have him, like, really snap and say, fine, I'm gonna get Darkwing Duck, I'm gonna get Dangerous. And, of course, obviously, he's already one of the more sadistic versions of the Riddler, and he does some pretty crazy things to Batman in his twisted games, but I'd love to see something closer to the Snyder version. Not characterized differently, but just being capable of that level of machination. To do kind of the no man's land that Riddler creates, like in Zero Year. Okay, no, don't leave. You still gotta go get the Scarecrow. Don't forget. I made that mistake the first time around. I think I did exactly the same thing where I accidentally went backwards. Oops. That's like when you're playing on your desktop and you accidentally show everyone everything on your desktop. I did it here too. I was like, oh wait, no, I have to go back in. Love these blimps. You always see these blimps in Batman things. Never thought you'd get to actually go in one. And then for it to be a floating laboratory with horrible, gross human experiments is absolutely fascinating and fantastic. The police would never think to look there. I mean, what an ingenious place for villainy. The Batman, that's where Simon Stagg keeps all his skeletons. Or maybe his prized bowling trophies.
Per your request, I've created a series of diagnostics.
I have not done any of the AR challenge. Wow, I just got kind of stuck here, didn't I? No, you just went the wrong way in the first place, Cap. That's it. Don't go back in there. We know that crap's not happening.
Identification confirmed. Good evening, Mr. Stagg.
It's obviously going to take us several hours to get through this, but eventually, and I hesitate to even say this, because I just don't know when and if it'll happen, but eventually I am seriously considering doing this for the other, at least the first two.
So are you gonna stop him and save Oracle? Or am I going to get another hit of that delicious gas while you watch helpless as she dies? How do we decide?
So Joker loves getting the toxin because makes him feel
the real Scarecrow show.
more like himself,
So where's our
makes
first
him
contestant?
feel more in control.
The one with the ears. Step up and... Bad luck, Bats!
Now, does that happen no matter which one you pick? Like, if I picked the left one, would that still have happened? Let me go back and try it again. I can't remember which one I did the first time I played this.
You're not dying. It just feels like you are. My toxin is filling your lungs, drowning you in your greatest fears. What can you see? A city engulfed in fear. Betrayed by those you trust the most. your darkest secrets revealed. As I tear your mind apart,
I actually like that. All three of those are things that happen.
I will cut that mask from your
Okay, that's pretty cool foreshadowing.
and the whole world will see the fear in your eyes. Then they too will understand. There is no savior. No more hope. No more Batman.
Maybe it's already happened.
What?
I love the overlay of Mark Hamill's voice there on top of Conroy's.
Amazing. And this body. I can't believe how strong it is.
So more beating up Jokers. Well, I guess not. I guess Joker's standing around cheering me on. This is rather like the gallery of viewers
You
that
almost killed these men.
Q has an encounter
You
at
were
Farpoint.
ready to abandon your beliefs.
That's a Star Trek
Everything
reference. Batman has reasserted control because he's Batman.
You'll get here better than the creep who killed your parents. You need to do something. You need to stop him. Good.
Boy, the convoluted and somewhat inconsistent story is almost worth moments like this, but then it's frustrating because
Something's changed. You're different.
I wish it was smarter by the
I
end.
call it a work in progress, but it does show potential.
You're trapped. There's nowhere to run.
Who said anything about running?
Yeah, we gotta keep this game going. Oh, Batman, you're so naive. You sure thought that was the denouement. That's cool. Well, Batman, you can knock dodge missiles off your bucket list. I love these really quiet moments.
Sir, the Scarecrow is broadcasting across Gotham. You need to see this.
How does it feel to see your city on the brink of ruin? Your friends in the clutches of death?
Is that a
You
rhetorical
stretched yourself too far this time, Batman. And now your failure is all but complete. As that final dying breath escapes her body, she will know you are the one who failed her.
Alfred, he's holding Oracle at the safe house in Chinatown. I'm heading there now.
Please hurry, sir. There's no telling what he'll do to her.
Well, folks, that's going to be it for me for this hour. We went a little bit over an hour. I will see you again for Hour 8. Yes, we are continuing this. We're going to get all the way through the game. Thanks, as always, for watching. I'm Captain Logan, and happy playing.